Yes.
Ibe!
Amen.
Vive de Ibe!
Vive.
Vive de Burkina Faso! Et vive France ici!
Africa. Africa. Africa.
Unite!
Africa.
Unite!
Africa.
Unite!
Africa.
Unite!
Africa.
Unite!
There is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight his own battle and show that after all, the black man is capable of managing the world affairs.
Under the shade of Kenneth Kaunda. Through Kenneth Kaunda, we are also here in the spirit of Kwame Nkrumah, in the spirit of Samora Machel, in the spirit of Thomas Sankara, in the spirit of all our forefathers and our foremothers. And we have declared, this is an African people's declaration, that we no longer recognize the 1884 borders that were created by colonial thieves, who created those for the purpose of stealing our resources, raping our women, killing our babies. The longer we entertain these borders, the more legitimacy we give to that thought of even stealing our resources. This declaration does not require validation by anybody.
Yes.
We do not answer to anybody.
Yes.
Not to Americans, not to Europeans, not to Chinese, not to anybody. We are Africans, we are unstoppable. They have tried everything, they failed to exterminate us. They tried slavery, they failed. They tried colonialism, they failed. They are trying new colonialism. But that also, comrades, I assure you, is bound to fail.
Yes.
As long as we are concerned, Africa is one. I am not a Ghanaian. I am not a Zambian. I am not a Zimbabwean. I do not recognize a Ghana. I do not recognize a Zambia. I recognize Africa.
Yes.
One Africa, one passport. One passport, one citizenship, one currency, one military command, one central bank of issue, one communication system, one people, one destiny. That is the Africa that we want. And we are here not to beg for it. We are declaring it as of rights. And it is ours to do so. Nobody has the right to sit in Berlin and declare Africa divided. We have the right because this is our land. This is the land of our ancestors. This is the land of our fathers and our mothers. This is the land of our spirits. And those spirits are with us here as we say that from today, let the United Africa, let the United African States be born. And let it be born in our minds. Let it be born as we go back to schools, on campuses. Let it be born as we go back to markets. Let it be born as we are in the barber shops. Let it be born as we are at taxi ranks, in the trucks. Let it be born as we are flying in the beautiful skies of Africa. Let us not rest because our detractors are working overtime. We must not rest. But we must be sure that what we have started will end in victory. Will end in victory. Our comrades usually say, "A luta continua."
Continua.
Victoria acerta.
É certa.
But I want to say, "A luta mas finito." Our struggle will finish in victory. And it must finish in victory. We cannot remain as second-class citizens of the world forever. Civilization started in Africa. All these so-called philosophers learned philosophy in the commercial African civilization. Kush, Nubia, all these started civilization. And we are claiming, standing on the shoulders of giants, that this is the Africa we want. We hereby call officially on the government of Zambia to remove all visas for all Africans traveling to Zambia. We call on all African governments to remove all visas because it does not make sense for us to need visa to travel in our own continent. This is a continental affair. This, as we are marching today, our comrades are marching in Kenya, some are marching in Ghana, some are marching in Nigeria, some are marching in Malawi, some are marching everywhere. This is a fire that is catching on. And nobody has the power to stop an idea whose time has come. Borderless Africa, the time is now.
The message I have in my heart is that let us keep the spirit of African unity. Because I know one day, time will come when Africa will unite. We will all be happy and sing happy songs. Yes, and one day, Kwame Nkrumah once said, I'm not African because I was born in Africa. I am African because Africa was born in...
From Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso, from Niamey, Niger, from Conakry, Mali, from Nairobi, Kenya, from South Africa, from Ghana, the Africa has united. The African youths are giving a different example, a different perspective, a different way of liberation. The youths are fighting for the change. The youths are echoing the words of Kwame Nkrumah. The youths are echoing and reviving the dreams of Thomas Sankara, Kwame Nkrumah, and Patrice Lumumba. The youths are not just going to fight because they want to win their war. They are not being accompanied by weapons. They don't have any swords, any guns. They don't have any nuclear weapons. But they have their faith. They have their power. And they are being accompanied by the stronger spirits of our Pan-Africans, the great Patrice Lumumba, the great Kwame Nkrumah, the great Martin Luther Jr., whose their agenda was one: the Africa must be united. Let's listen to these living words of the Kwame Nkrumah.
There is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight his own battle and show that after all, the black man is capable of managing the whole affairs.
Welcome back. You know, it is said that the history will always remember the best leaders. The history will always forever remember the good leaders. But the bad leaders will not be remembered even with their families.
Nobody remembers bad leaders. Nobody remembers useless leaders. History judges bad leaders harshly. Who remembers bad leaders in Africa? But everybody remembers Kwame Nkrumah. Everybody remembers Thomas Sankara. Everybody remembers Patrice Lumumba. The names of good, outstanding leaders live forever. But the names of these useless leaders, they don't last.
And now, how many years have passed since the death or assassination of Patrice Lumumba? How many years have passed since the assassination of Kwame Nkrumah?
You see, we were not there when Patrice Lumumba of Congo was assassinated by the CIA and the Belgian government in 1961. We were not. We weren't born when Kwame Nkrumah was removed in a coup by the same CIA in 1966 on his trip to Vietnam. When Thomas Sankara was assassinated by France and his right-hand man in 1987 in Burkina Faso, we were very, very young.
But today, we are speaking their narratives as if we were there when they are alive. They were only taken out of life, but they never died. That's why you see today People are rising differently. The people are rising, and all that they are saying is that the agenda of Kwame Nkrumah must be achieved. The dream of Patrice Lumumba must be revived, and the future of Africa must change.
I was so sad to hear that Kwame Nkrumah, everybody agreed with him, even the people that betrayed him. They said, yes, all of us, we are going to unite Africa. All the people agreed, even I think other countries. Because even that's why Kwame Nkrumah decided to help some countries to fight for their independence.
That's why you see today, the Gen Zs has taken the control of African continent. They're not afraid of if they're going to die fighting or they're going to win battle and bring victory to their homes. But they are fighting, they're standing up, because if we can't take this time at this moment, then it means that even the agenda of the Pan-Africans like Patrice Lumumba and Kwame Nkrumah, which cost their life, it will just be in vain. Their death will just be in vain, and nothing will remain to be remembered as a legacy of the generation and the lineage of the great Pan-Africans. Because before they died believing that the coming generation will come to achieve their agenda. They died believing that their death was not in vain, but their coming generation will continue the fight from where they have left. When the Africans were coming to be unalive, the great African leaders, the Africans, it all happens under the African leaders' watch. It all happens under the Africans' watch. But at that time, the African leaders were already convinced. They were already manipulated. And the Africans people were already convinced that those were terrorist leaders. When Muammar Gaddafi was being taken down, the great giant of Africa, and up to date, I believe that there are some people who still believes that Muammar Gaddafi was just a terrorist leader. He was just a dictator, but not a leader who had the best visions to the African continent. The death of Muammar Gaddafi never only affected the family or his life, but the entire country of Libya and the entire continent of Africa, because his agenda was about the unity of Africa, the bringing back of the African land, the bringing back of the African independence and sovereignty, the resistance from the white supremacists, because Africa never got independent. So, when we see all this that is happening today, we have seen the fruits from this. We have evidence. We have the testimonies to put across, because all that is facing today the country of France, it never started in France. It started in Burkina Faso. It started in Niger, in Mali. It started in Ghana. When the citizens stood up and said that no more for France. When the leaders who are leading these countries today said that enough is enough, and now we want to retain our power, our countries under our leadership. That's why today, after they have been eliminated from those countries, they started to shake. They started to find any ways on how to take those leaders, the military leaders, down. They tried several times on how to take the leader of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore. They tried to take down Abdurrahman Chiani of Niger, because France used to light their countries with the uranium they get from Niger without payments. Emmanuel Macron, the leader of France, used to fly the first class with the oil that never touches his soil, but from the country of Mali. And now here today, because all that they were getting from Africa, all that bondage has been cut off All that diplomatic relationship has been terminated. All the countries, all the agreements that was there binding them to the African minerals was terminated and cancelled. That's why today you see the situation in France is trembling.
There is one thing in Europe right now that nobody is talking about, but this thing can change a future wealth of Europe for the next couple of decades. So I will try to explain you. Now it's the war between Russia and Ukraine, and do you know what is the main problem with this war? This is not about gas, this is not about Ukrainian refugees, this is not about money that Europe is sending to Ukraine, and this is not about money that Ukraine will invest into military instead of investing in medicine or something else. This is not about these four things.
Niger just lost a court case to France. The World Bank Tribunal ruled Niger cannot sell, transfer, or even move its own uranium, because France's company Orano dragged them to court. France controlled this mine for over 50 years. Since 1971, Orano, once called Areva, pulled out Niger's uranium and made hundreds of millions of dollars every year.
To be predicted, because they used to depend in other people's wealth. And because those people waken up and say that our resources is our resources, we are having the use of our own resources, and we will not continue giving it out. We will not continue selling out our future. It became a threat. It became a problem. And now that's why today we are experiencing much troubles in the country of France, Britain, and other countries from Europe. Because the source is dry. Where they used to get all they want for them to survive is dry. They kept on saying that Africa cannot survive without Europe, without France, without America, without Britain. And now, without them, what's happening? Africa is now developing. Africa is rising. Africa is changing and liberating while they are suffering, crumbling, and now falling. They try to tell us that we are not mature to govern ourselves. The African youths have taken the charge of their own countries. And that's why you see today, even the leaders, the democratic leaders that we've been having all this time, all this while, who have been just doing hiding out games with the former colonizers, because they are the ones who have been benefiting from this. That's why they have never been able to fight all these problems that are affecting African continent, because they have been benefiting from it while their people suffer, die with hunger, with drought, with severe problems, while the government have a lot of money to end all these problems. And now, from the example that we get from Ibrahim Traore and other military leaders, the young Gen Zs, we are here to take the leadership. We are here to take charge of everything that is in our mind, our countries. So I will not speak much. Make sure that you watch up to the end. The words of the great leaders are still echoing to the African minds. The history is still reclaiming and demanding its rights. So it's upon me, you, and all of us to join hands together, stand up, support the leaders who are fighting for our interests, support all this that's being brought by our leaders who have the best interest towards our African continent. The Mother Africa continent is here. The Mother Africa is here, and she is reclaiming her dignity, her richness. And we are here to make sure that we bring back all that was taken out of her. Until next time, let's meet you on the comment section if you have something to put across. I'm talking to the black people we're watching from. This concerns us all. We are not only fighting for us, but for the entire generation of Africa. Until next time, we come and do the same. Thank you, and be blessed watching from. For those people who are subscribing, sharing, consider joining my membership so that we can move together and build up this together. Until next time, until next episode, let's meet on the next time. Be with you, be blessed, and peace be with you wherever you're from.